What if what you were eating is making your adrenal fatigue worse, or making you feel worse? Like, I get it. Sometimes we know the junk food makes us feel worse. But what if it was good food that was making you feel worse? We're going to talk about that a little bit. If you're feeling exhausted, craving sugar, craving salt, let us help you figure that out. Today, we're going to be talking about ways to correct these problems. Stay with me through this video because at the end, I will share what to expect, how long it takes, and what you're going to feel as you address your adrenal fatigue. As a quick recap of our previous videos in this series, we've talked about what is adrenal fatigue, what does it mean to you, and what supplements to use. And now let's talk about how our diet worsens adrenal fatigue. So, absolutely, yes, what we eat affects us. Most of the time, what is aggravating our adrenal fatigue is that we're eating too much sugar, too much salt, not enough protein, and we're messing our blood sugars up. What happens is when we eat food in an improper order, our blood sugars will tank. And when our blood sugars are come screaming down off a sugar high, so we had a soda pop, we had some crackers, we had jam and toast, we had a Pop Tart. Your blood sugars just come screaming up. And when they come screaming up, then we get an overproduction of insulin and they come screaming back down. And as they're coming down too low, your body's like, whoa, we're headed for a blood sugar crash. We got to do something. Hey, adrenal glands, I need you to kick that liver in, that guy who's sleeping over in the corner. And I need him to give me some blood sugar because I'm going to hit the floor fast, or I need to eat some more sugar. It's either or, but your body isn't going to wait for you to get some sugar or a piece of fruit in your mouth. It's just going to try to kick in those adrenal glands. And that's one reason why having caffeine through the day helps people get through the day, is because we're artificially stimulating our adrenal glands to spike up the adrenaline so that we have energy and strength and stamina and clarity of mind, but we're not fixing the problem, we're masking the problem. So, how do we fix that? Well, the best order to eat in is vegetable, then your proteins and fats, then anything that's carbs or sugar or starch at the end. And the reason for this is your vegetables have a fiber and you have a hole in your small intestine and made you look. And the fiber, it's called insoluble fiber, gets stuck in that hole. And then here comes your sugar, and it can't get in there because the fiber is in there. And that slows down your sugar absorption. So instead of having a rapid spike and a ramp up in blood sugar, your sugars slowly come up. And then you eat the rest of your meal, and you're doing this all in one space. You're just eating your vegetables first, then your proteins, then your fats, and then your carbs and sugars at the end. Now, what do we do when we're nursing a soda pop all afternoon? That can be a problem, right? Because your blood sugars, we're maintaining them and we're doing it all artificially, and the body's not doing it. And that's a great setup for having more problems down the road that leads to resistance and can make you feel even worse. So, it doesn't mean you have to throw what you're doing right now completely out. What it means is that you eat your food in this particular order: vegetables, proteins, fats, have a piece of fruit, and have some bread and butter on it, or have your baked potato, or do your starches and carbs at last. This will make all the difference in the world. You didn't take anything out of your diet, you just rearranged it, and it's going to make a big difference. Now, caffeine is going to take some time. You get rid of the caffeine willy nilly, all of a sudden you're going to have caffeine headaches, your fatigue's going to be low, and you're going to feel like you have low blood sugar. And did you hear what I said about that? You're going to feel like you have low blood sugar because you've been artificially stimulating the body to have energy. And now all of a sudden you're expecting the body to do something about it. It's like, whoa, I don't even know what the rhythm of things is around here. And your adrenal glands are burned out. And they're like, oh, you want more from me? I'm giving everything I can, buddy. And it's just stoking the fire with a bunch of coal and it's burning up all of your nutrients. So reorder your food. Yes, you can have some caffeine in the afternoon for now. But as you start to feel better and you're using the supplements and your diet, this food order is changed, then you start decreasing the soda. You start decreasing the caffeine. And then next thing you know, you're down to a half or a quarter or an eighth of a soda to do the same thing you needed before. But the problem is like, I don't want to waste the rest of that soda, but you really need to throw it away, because when we overstimulate the body with the caffeine, we overstimulate our adrenal glands, and then we burn up our nutrients. And where do we find ourselves? Back in the horrible mess of adrenal fatigue. And so you can see what we put in our body starts to have an effect. We don't want to eat sugar all by itself. We don't want to drink sugary things like fruit juice or soda pop generally by itself. And people say, well, I'm going to drink a diet soda. And those make you insulin resistant too. They just don't spike your sugar. So we've got to start digging ourselves out of this hole. Now, this sounds overwhelming. Don't forget about the support. We've given you the tools you need to do this. We've given you the tools to feel well. It was in the previous video under supplementation. That's why we have supplementation, is to make this whole diet thing easier. And diet, again, hate the word diet, but the way we eat and the way we treat our body makes all the difference in the world. There it is, folks. Easy way to start getting your diet in order. And don't forget about our other protocols to help and assist in this. We have tools. Let's use them. You're not alone in this. I've experienced adrenal fatigue, and my family members have experienced adrenal fatigue before we started this journey of trying to better our lives through health and nutrition. Okay, real quickly, I'm going to go through some diet ideas, some meal plans, some snacks, some things like that that will help you feel satisfied, energy, and feel good. Okay, first thing is don't forget the supplements. Moving on. Mealtime, if you go to what's called mealime.com, mealime.com, this has a ton of recipes that will complete that food order that I gave you. And it takes the timing out of trying to plan for your meals. They're quick, easy recipes, and they are good for you. Okay, mealtime's done. Let's go through breakfast. 2 celery sticks and 2 fried eggs and a piece of toast. Not 5 pieces of toast, a piece of toast. No orange juice. You could substitute that bread for a bowl of oatmeal. But remember, when you eat your food in order and you have a vegetable at the beginning, you're going to feel fuller. And so by the time you get to this carb and fruit at the end, all of a sudden you don't want as much of it. And so you're going to try to do more vegetables and more protein and more fat. I know, you heard me. I said more fat, but we're going to focus on healthy fats. We don't want canola oil. We don't want vegetable oil. We don't want rapeseed oil. We want good oils like butter, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. Those are all some real good options you have for cooking your food. The thing about our oils is they make us feel full. They do have a lot of calories, and we think, wow, we've got all these calories. I don't want to get fat from having calories. Well, I'll tell you what will make you fat faster than oil is carbs. And in fact, healthy oils don't make you fat. Healthy oils help wash out bad fats out of your body. Those bad seed oils, those bad vegetable oils. Crisco, man, you want to talk about death in a tub. Eat Crisco. But when your good oils help push those out, you'll feel better, your brain will communicate better, and you'll feel full. A lot of times, I suggest having olive oil, a lot of olive oil in the day, not all at once, but throughout the day. A lot of times, if you'll just put a teaspoon or 2 of olive oil on your salad, with your vegetables, in your chili, on your bread and toast, in your oatmeal, you will feel so much fuller from having that olive oil, and you're not going to get fat from it. It's a great way to go. All right, let's talk about some snacks. If you're good with peanuts, they're salty, they're high in protein, they got no sugar in it. You want to have some peanuts, that's no big deal. I didn't like celery growing up, really hated it, in fact. But I really like to love it in the sense where if I just found that if I accompanied it with something else, I did really good. If I put a string cheese on top of a piece of celery and eat that, very satisfying. If I take a piece of celery and put peanut butter on it, and I like to get the all natural peanut butter that doesn't have other oils added to it, it has just peanut oil in there and no added sugars, put that on a piece of celery. Celery is actually mildly sweet, and I think you'd be surprised at how much you like that. I think most people just need to not put quite as much peanut butter on it. They overdo the peanut butter, and then that outdoes the sweetness on the celery. Okay, that's your vegetable, and that is your protein. Celery and peanut butter. They go real good in the fridge. We've even taken chocolate protein powder and mixed with the peanut butter, and then put it on the celery sticks. So now you have a chocolate celery stick. Pretty cool, huh? Eat that. You're not shocking your system. You're getting some food in you, and you just feel better. So these are some things that you can integrate. We have people using sauerkraut with each meal. We have people using even just canned green beans because you can crack them open, warm them up. We have people eating vegetable omelets for breakfast, and they've never tried it before, and they find out they love it. Check out that mealime.com. That will make the difference in the world. Get the app on your phone. It's free. I don't make any money from it, but I use it all the time because there's huge benefits in taking the work out of eating right. During your adrenal fatigue recovery, skipping meals isn't the most fantastic idea in the world. Another question I get asked a lot is intermittent fasting. No, it stresses the body out, and the physical stress tells your adrenal glands to kick out more cortisol, and you're already juicing your poor adrenal glands as hard as you can. And so, right now is not the time to fast. When you start feeling better, you can start to do some of that. But right now, not a good idea. And guess what? Here's a little tip: fasting never works well for the body in any way when you load upon carbs, spike your blood sugar, and then try fasting. Doesn't work. Have carbs before bed, go to sleep, try to skip breakfast and do intermittent fasting. Doesn't work. You cannot have carbs or sugars by themselves and then skip your next meal and expect to feel well. Now, the best way to start a fast or intermittent fasting is beginning with protein the meal before you start your fast. All right, tip trick there, little bonus. All right, so this is one of my more favorite parts to talk about, and this is lifestyle of adrenal fatigue. Adrenal fatigue can be, you're like, okay, well, what am I doing in my life to make my adrenal fatigue worse? Okay, ladies, here it is. I want you to hear me. Guys, too. If you go running and do heavy cardio while you have adrenal fatigue, you're going to feel like a pile of garbage. What happens is you went running and you said, well, I'm going to get my 15, 20 minutes of cardio in before you go to work because that's what you're supposed to do. And I want to look good and I want to feel good. And that's what I'm going to do. And then you do your exercise and you're down and you feel like down and you're just like, ugh, for 2-3 hours. And it's a big deal. When that scenario hits, there ain't nothing you feel like you can do except for go grab a bunch of caffeine and sugar and salt and like maybe you can make it till lunch. But then if lunch doesn't do it good for you, you're gonna go back to more caffeine. And then by the end of the day, you can't sleep because you just told your brain and your body to stay awake. And your body's tired and you're like, oh, I could really go to sleep. But your brain won't let you. Well, that's because you just juiced on caffeine all day long. The problem here is physical stress stimulates an adrenal response that shuttles out cortisol, and your gland will just excrete everything it has. And then you're running because your body thinks you're running from a tiger. And then when the danger's gone, when the workout's over, you've got nothing else to give. You've got nothing for your family, you've got nothing for your job, and you've got nothing for yourself. Okay, now I know that was a little intense. Let's take a step back, take a deep breath. This is what we do. Go for some enjoyable walks. Enjoy nature. It should be relaxing. The best time to go for a walk is not before a meal, but after a meal. And that will reduce your metabolic stress. You'll feel better. Let's give this some time. Let's give the supplements a chance to work. And the thing to remember is these supplements are going to make you feel better fairly quickly. But don't overdo the exercise again. If you start hitting the cardio and you get wiped out, you're hitting it too hard. It's not going to get better until your adrenal glands have recovered. So what kind of exercise? Well, I still want to exercise. I don't want to let myself go to pot. Well, I get that. You know, guys don't want to let themselves go to pot too. They just tend to not bother them as much when they go to pot. Do more weights. That's okay. Build some muscle. Muscle burns fat, right? Here's the trick to that. Ladies, get your protein in before you lift the weights. And then don't eat after you lift the weights. That's the trick. You go and you try to lift weights and you break down more muscle than you can rebuild. And so your body needs energy also. It's going to take and it's going to break down your muscle for energy. And you're going to tear your muscle down in lifting weights. And then you're going to be like, oh, I feel weak. Get your proteins in first so your body can convert those proteins into energy and muscle. and follow up with your exercise. You will do so much better. Do not over exercise. That is the one way you can for sure stop your adrenal healing progression. Too much caffeine, too much exercise. I know it sounds crazy. That's the way it is. Okay, so if you are one of these people that tend to be ADHD, ADD, or you think you are, and you've already been using the L-theanine and you go to bed and you're like, oh, this stuff is great. Well, you may find that taking another capsule of L-theanine before your exercise, before your workout, keeps you from crashing post-workout because you're supporting your adrenal glands and you're helping them maintain this nice level in a relaxed state, even though you worked out. Now, your adrenal ease, you're going to be taking that in the morning, your B vitamins, and it's all going to help with that. You don't have to take an L-theanine in the morning. If you take an extra L-theanine in the morning and you're tired, pay attention. That's the body telling you you don't need it in the morning, and it's pulling you too low, and you're not putting enough cortisol out in the morning, and then you feel tired. We prefer to just use the L-theanine at night most times, but the people who are more likely to benefit from having it twice a day in the morning, ADD, ADHD, those are people. Be careful of your pre-workouts. Sometimes they are loaded with caffeine. We're talking 400 milligrams of caffeine. I have seen crazy amounts. Be real careful. Okay, I'm going to talk about another huge key. This is a big deal. Salt. Why are you craving salt? Your adrenal glands use salt. Your liver uses salt. Your kidneys use salt. You detox with salt. You need salt. But I'm going to back up. We're really talking about hydration here. Salt is what allows fluid to enter into your cells. It's what allows your body to communicate with itself. And it's what also helps muscle groups relax. But if you're getting the wrong kind of salt, then you're going to crave salt and you're going to have symptoms, everything from water retention to hypertension and muscle cramps, just not feeling well. So here it is. Don't skip this part. Super important. You need real salt, not straight sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is this beautiful white table salt that everybody uses, and it's one kind of what are called mineral salts. If you go look in my 8-week jumpstart protocol and my adrenal fatigue protocol, it talks about salt and the importance of it. Salt is multiple minerals. You have magnesium chloride, potassium chloride, calcium chloride, sodium chloride, lots of different salts. You can get red mineral salt. That's a really good brand to get. In general, it's just reliable. Pink Himalayan salt, Celtic salt. These are salts that have all of your mineral salts in it. You will feel so much better. I have people, when they don't get enough salts, they get heartburn, especially at night. They get leg cramps and Charlie horses, and menstrual cramps are worse, and shoulder tension is worse. And then you want to go around eating everything because your body's saying eat food so you can get the salt out of it. Some of us are lucky enough, we just gravitate to things that are salted, and those are great. But a lot of us are going to things that are accompanied with a heavy carb, and that's not great either. Salt is so important. Everybody skips it because they don't think it's important. Now, what I've included in these videos are the things that are going to give you success with adrenal fatigue. The protocol is going to give you success, and it's going to walk you through these, but I'm putting emphasis on the things that you need to take the time with. When I got my adrenal fatigue under control, it was life-changing. Now, how long does recovery take? Well, it depends. Are you going to follow all the steps? That's a big factor in how quickly you can feel better. But people start feeling better within a week or 2 or 3, and they're feeling phenomenal. Other people may take about 2 months to start feeling better because you're waiting from one domino to fall so that the next domino can fall. One gland heals so that the next one that's dependent on it can heal. Most people start feeling differences within 2 to 3 weeks or sooner. Now, long-term repair, that's going to depend on you. Are you going to try to do this adrenal fatigue protocol, and in 2 months you're going to feel fantastic and you're like, great, I'm all done? And then you start picking up the soda and the pretzels again, and now you're eating them together, and then you're nursing them all day long, and then you give up eating your food in order. Well, now what you just did is you created a lifestyle dependency on something that you're going to have to rely on the rest of your life. I have people come in all the time, and I say to them, I understand you're surviving on the caffeine. I totally get it. I've been there. You don't have to give it up willy nilly, but at some point you're going to have to give it up, right? You're going to use these supplements to get your body stronger to where you're not dependent on those things. And then you're going to start decreasing them until they're gone. And there you go. And that's how it's going to work. Now, there are always nutritional deficiencies we have in life. Food isn't what it used to be. But in general, you should be able to step off your adrenal ease. You should be able to step off of your advantage greens eventually if you're going to do the things like eating more vegetables, not consuming the caffeine that's going to burn up all your B vitamins. Recovery is a completely different thing. Recovery is, how far do you want to recover? How far do you want to take this? Do you want to feel good, better, or best? I like to feel best. And I'm confident that this is a journey for you and you're going to figure out where you want to be. And I think everybody wants to be best, but getting in the good or better category compared to absolutely don't feel good at all category is going to be huge and very exciting. And then you're going to start implementing these little life hacks that are going to make your life better and your family is better because you're going to have more to give to your kids and your spouse and this third person we never talk about, yourself. So that's our video series on adrenal fatigue. I hope you feel very encouraged by it. I am so excited that you're going to take this step to better your health for you and your family. So have a good one. Remember, be healthy, be happy. Somebody's life was changed because of a few supplements and some diligence and not